I never feared mirrors. They were just objects, glass and silver, nothing more. But that changed the night my reflection stopped following me. I had just moved to Hollow Creek, a quiet town hidden behind thick forests and fog that never lifted. The rental house was cheap, fully furnished, and oddly spotless. Almost too spotless, like no one had touched anything in years. That first night, I brushed my teeth, leaned toward the bathroom mirror, and my reflection didn't lean with me. I froze. My breath caught in my throat. In the mirror, my reflection stood perfectly still, staring at me with wide, unblinking eyes. My eyes, but darker, like something was watching me from behind them. I stepped back. My reflection smiled, something I did not do. My knees buckled. I grabbed the sink to keep myself from falling, blinked once, twice, and suddenly the reflection snapped back to match my movement, perfectly normal. I wanted to believe it was stress, lack of sleep, new environment, but then I noticed smudged fingerprints on the inside of the mirror, like someone had pressed against it trying to get out. The next morning, I asked the landlord about the previous tenant. His face turned pale. He said, "There was no previous tenant. Nobody has lived there for 8 years." I told him he must be mistaken because everything looked new. He shook his head. No one stays long. Not after the mirrors start copying things they shouldn't. He walked away before I could ask more. His hands were trembling. At the local diner, I asked casually, "Does this town have some weird superstition about mirrors?" The waitress dropped the glass she was holding. It shattered across the floor. Everyone in the diner turned to look at me. She whispered, "You shouldn't say that word out loud here." "What word?" She leaned close, terrified. "Reflection." That night, I covered every mirror in the house with blankets. It made me feel safer. Until 2:41 a.m. Tap, 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 knuckles on glass. Coming from the bathroom. I grabbed a flashlight and stepped out of bed. The bathroom mirror cover was gone. The blanket was folded neatly on the floor. And in the mirror, my reflection was standing closer than it should have been. Closer than I was standing. Its face was inches from the glass. It lifted its hand, pressed its palm to the inside of the mirror. The glass flexed outward, like something behind it was pushing. I froze. My reflection mouthed words silently. "Let me in." Then the mirror cracked, a thin line across its surface, like the first cut. I ran back to my room and shoved a dresser against the door, but the tapping continued all night, not from the bathroom, from every mirror in the house, as if they were answering each other, whispering, calling my name. That night, I covered every mirror in the house with blankets. It made me feel safer until 2:41 a.m. Tap, 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 knuckles on glass, coming from the bathroom. I grabbed a flashlight and stepped out of bed. The bathroom mirror cover was gone. The blanket was folded neatly on the floor. And in the mirror, my reflection was standing closer than it should have been. Closer than I was standing. Its face was inches from the glass. It lifted its hand, pressed its palm to the inside of the mirror. The glass flexed outward, like something behind it was pushing. I froze. My reflection mouthed words silently. "Let me in." Then the mirror cracked, a thin line across its surface, like the first cut. I ran back to my room and shoved a dresser against the door, but the tapping continued all night. Not from the bathroom, from every mirror in the house, as if they were answering each other, whispering, calling my name. I returned home before sunset. No matter how terrifying everything was, stepping back into the house felt worse, like entering the mouth of something alive. The first thing I noticed, the mirrors I had covered were uncovered again. All of them. The blankets lay neatly folded, exactly like someone had taken their time smoothing every edge. I whispered to myself, "Do not look!" But something inside me pulled, as if the mirror itself was calling me closer. The bathroom mirror was the worst. At first I saw nothing unusual, until I realized the glass was breathing, not metaphorically, literally expanding and contracting, subtle but unmistakable, like lungs struggling to inhale. Then, in the fogged patches, words appeared, written backward on the inside. "You're late." I stumbled back and tripped on the floor. A soft tapping began, but this time, it came from inside the mirror, like someone drumming their fingers on the wrong side of reality. I crawled away. The tapping followed. Tap, 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 tap. Almost playful, like whatever was inside was getting impatient. I shut my eyes, covered my ears, whispered, "It's not real. It's not real." But when I opened my eyes, a handprint was on the outside of the mirror, far too large to be human. I ran straight to the antique shop. The shopkeeper, Mr. Alden, locked the door the moment I entered. "You shouldn't go home tonight," he said. "I need answers," I told him. "You won't like them." He led me down to a basement filled with books, yellowed maps, and artifacts that looked older than the town itself. On the wall hung a portrait, an old man in black robes, holding a silver mirror carved with symbols. I pointed at it. "Who is that?" Alden swallowed. "Elias Renford, the mirror collector." He pulled out an old journal, leather cracked, pages brittle. He founded Hollow Creek in 1867, but the town believes he wasn't completely human. "Why mirrors?" Alden hesitated. He believed reflections were gateways, not symbolism, not metaphors, actual doors. He flipped the journal to a page showing sketches of mirrors shaped like portals, clawed hands reaching through. The townspeople said he summoned something, or became something. "What happened to him?" I asked. Alden closed the book. "No one knows. But people say he was last seen stepping into a mirror and never stepping out." "And what about the disappearances?" He pointed to a drawer. Inside were dozens of old photographs. Each one showed someone taking a mirror selfie. But their reflections, smiling, standing closer than they were, or staring directly at the camera even when the person wasn't. "They all vanished within days," Alden said. I felt cold. "Why me? Why now?" Alden exhaled slowly. "Because the collector chooses the ones who look the most like him." A chill shot down my spine. "What does that mean?" Alden held up a small, cracked mirror. "Look closely at yourself." I hesitated but leaned forward. For the first time, I noticed it. My eyes, my reflection's eyes, were getting darker. Shadows pulsed behind them, like something was waking up.